The Dodgers swept the Brewers 4 games in the National League Championship Series, capped off by Shohei Ohtani hitting 3 home runs, pitching 6 innings, striking out 10, only allowing 2 hits. And we're going back to the World Series to defend our World Series title. This is life for us now, Dodger fans. Do not take this for granted. My name's Ryan Bershinger. She's Monse Bolaños. He is Beau Benson. This is the Sick Podcast, The Dodger Zone. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Dodger Zone.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
It's gonna be sick.
I mean, we might have a new highlight in that intro package for next season, and that is very exciting. Let's start with Ohtani, because, of course, with who Shohei Ohtani has been throughout his major league career and who he has become up until this point, it's been hard to find different ways to describe how special he is. But even with how special he is, what he did in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series still does not feel real. I don't think you can replicate it in a video game. It is truly insane. Every time, whenever I've played MLB The Show and I go through a season, I get to the playoffs and I will win the World Series and it will be easy. You know, I might run the table through the playoffs, maybe lose 1 game through the playoffs. And I always, at the end, I'm like, well, yeah, of course, I'm not going to do a whole season and then not win the World Series. But at the same time, this doesn't feel too realistic to just have it be so easy. Apparently it is to have things like that happen. What Shohei Ohtani did in Game 4 to cap off the Dodgers clinching their second straight pennant. It's the single greatest game anyone has ever played. There's
some people would disagree. Certain people.
Listen, we all work with Rob Parker. We all love Rob Parker as a person.
Don't give it away, man.
It's fine. Well, okay. There's exactly one person in the media who's not impressed by it, and it's Rob. It's not giving it away. It's saying the one guy who doesn't think it's that great. And just listen. It's the worst take he's ever had, and that's okay.
You were about to say, and that's saying something. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's all right. We all know what you meant to say.
He has said that Tom Brady's the luckiest of all time. Steph Curry's not a good shooter. Things like, and now his new one is what Shohei did in Game 4 wasn't that impressive because players have hit 3 home runs in playoff games before, and players have had good starts in playoff games before. As he mentioned, nobody's ever done both of those in the same game.
In the same game, yeah.
But hey, yeah, it is 2 slightly unremarkable performances combined into one incredibly, still remarkable single performances in one mega remarkable performance. We all know this is incredible. And yes, Shohei was having kind of a weak postseason coming up into that game. But it doesn't matter. What he did in that single game, with the NLCS MVP, that's easy.
I was actually bummed though, dude. I really wanted Tommy Edman to come through when he had guys on the corner, because how funny would Tommy Edman 2-time NLCS MVP be? That would be really funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I feel like we've said this before, or I said it, where it's just kind of like when you think Ohtani can't do something else to impress you, he still does it. He loves the moment. It doesn't. We talked about it all season. Oh, it was Ohtani bobblehead. He hit a home run, and it's this day. Oh yeah, he also pitched 7 innings. It was just incredible when you think he can't possibly do something else to top himself, because he's had so many great moments in a very short time with the Dodgers that it's impressive to see him still do it. And like it was so sweet because he wasn't having a good postseason. That was a topic of conversation. Everybody knew that. He knew that. And for him to come out and do that, it was like it's just like how do you not love baseball? It's like, how do you not find this romantic? What are you talking about, Rob Parker? Cuckoo bird. I can't.
He's wearing it. It's okay. He's getting the pushback. Okay, you know, he keeps saying like Reggie Jackson homered on 3 straight pitches in the World Series, and that is more impressive because
that is so
didn't
awesome.
do it on 3 straight pitches. And I told Rob, well, then maybe the pitchers shouldn't be piping fastballs to Reggie Jackson first pitch in the World Series. Like that sounds like a pitching problem to me. But hey, what do I know? Shohei Ohtani cleared the pavilion.
Finally.
Yeah, it's amazing that hadn't happened yet. And when it does happen, it's in the midst of his single greatest performance. Like he was somehow, it was the greatest version of Shohei Ohtani imaginable. And it came through in the biggest moment. Like the only thing that would be greater would be to win the World Series. But like, that's just being greedy at that point. Like this is incredible.
And I feel like something that's not being talked about, it's like it was an elimination game for the Brewers. So the Brewers came out with the intention to not strike out 10 times. Right. They came out with the intention to extend the series. They did not come out ready to fold. So those 10 strikeouts by Ohtani didn't come easy. Those 6 innings didn't come easy. The Brewers were not coming in to fold. They were coming in thinking they were going to extend the series. So like, you have to add the stakes to it. This wasn't just like a game in, April that he did this in June. It was like, add the stakes to it. Like 3 pitches. That's so great that Reggie Jackson did that. That's so awesome. This is more awesome.
Yeah. It's unfortunately we're arguing with one person. Everybody who's listening fully agrees with us. If you do not agree that what Ohtani did was incredible and spectacular, if you don't think it was the single greatest game that anyone's ever had, fine, you can make that argument. But to say that it was nothing special, none of you actually think that. But let's look at Ohtani's series as a whole, because one refrain that I saw from a lot of fans was like, well, hey, a lot of non-Dodger fans being like, Ohtani only performed in one game, really, which one is not true. Game 3, he led off that game with a triple, which again, much was being made about his struggles at the plate coming in. He leads off that game with a triple. Mookie doubles him home. That game was over from that point. I believe it was game 1 where he had a 2-out RBI single as well. And they don't win that game without that. So it's Ohtani did have some rough.
It also doesn't matter because they still game planned around him.
Yes.
That's what I don't get. Like,
that's the big point.
They were still walking. They walked him as much as they possibly could. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's just like Barry Bonds, man. Like, you're game planning around doing everything you can to get Shohei Ohtani out of the game.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Like, so to say that he had no impact, and it's just stupid.
Right.
It's so stupid.
I think it was Dan Clark, who made, or Ryan Spader, one of those two dorks, put out something about like how if you took all of Barry Bonds' career home runs and turned them into strikeouts, then you would still have a higher career either OPS or on base than Shohei Ohtani. But to that point, like without those home runs, Barry Bonds doesn't have that OPS because he was walked 8 billion times because of who he was. So that's why his numbers are so inflated like that. Ohtani's been getting that treatment in the postseason. Even when he's struggling with the bat, he was still intentionally walked multiple times throughout the series. And a couple times it was not to the benefit of the Brewers. So of course, his position in the lineup, his presence in the lineup is still super valuable, even when he was struggling with the bat. And now hopefully he's not anymore because he just hit 3 home runs in a game. Like that's going great. And as we look towards the Blue Jays series, I think a big point about the Blue Jays as an opponent, and it would have been true with the Mariners as well, is the Dodgers are going to see much fewer left-handed pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think really impacted Ohtani specifically throughout the postseason, is he saw a lot of Christopher Sanchez. Jesus Luzardo was very effective against him. Aaron Ashby pitched to him half the time he was up. Like he's been attacked with lefties throughout. And sure, the Blue Jays have I can't remember his name, but his first name, Fluharty, their left-handed reliever, who shut down Ohtani in our series with them in LA in the middle of the season when he bases loaded and he struck out Ohtani. That guy will probably face Ohtani a handful of times, but the rotation is entirely right-handed. Obviously, Kevin Gossman, Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, Trey Savage. Like this is all a right-handed rotation. They do have Eric Lauer, who was a starter throughout the year, but he's only been used in relief in the postseason, so Ohtani might get some of him. But overall, this is a very right-handed rotation, so we should see Ohtani continue to perform into the World Series. But yeah, I think that's. I mean, what else can you say about what Ohtani did in the series? Oh, that's the point I wanted to make too. He won NLCS MVP mainly because of his performance in one game. If Ohtani did not do what he did in that game, then it should have been Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto as co-MVPs because of what they also did in one game. So if you're going to make the point of like Ohtani really only performed in one game, yeah, it was a 4-game series. Like this is the result.
There's not that many opportunities.
Yeah. When you're naming an MVP for a 4-game set, like if you single-handedly win one of those games, you are absolutely the most valuable player. So, but let's talk about the other aspects of why we won the series. First off, Blake Snell. Incredible outing in game 1. He did not go the distance though. And that was something that sparked some debate from people, like pulling Snell after 8, which again, I want to remind Dodger fans how great it is to be us now. Think about in the past where if you were told like, hey, there was a debate as if Dave should have left his starter in for the 9th inning. You're like, wow, what the hell? Like he got that far? Are you kidding me? So it's a great problem to have when you're trying to figure out whether or not the starter should be left in for the 9th. Monse, how did you feel about Blake Snell's performance there and the decision to go to Roki in the 9th in that game?
I understood it. I understood it, but I was very much like, let him go out again. And if it doesn't go well from the start, then pull him. But I would have liked to have seen him go out. But I understand why you went to Roki Sasaki because of everything we had just seen in the series previously. You were like, yeah, get him. I understood the decision, but the saying, Blake Snell walked so Yoshinobu Yamamoto could run. Yeah. So it worked out for him in game 2. But I just was really surprised. I feel like Beau maybe felt this way very comfortably with the Dodgers, that they would literally turn a switch on when they needed to. And I truly did not see it being switched on so obviously. Like we talked about this, Ryan, at the last episode, talking about the Brewers. Like the Brewers were just going to chip at you. They're just going to chip and wait to get to the bullpen. They were like, just get to the bullpen. And it was like, oh, your bullpen's not coming? Since when? Since when does your bullpen not come? And I was just as surprised as the Brewers that's how that series went. It was honestly like, man, the Dodgers look so good that it's a little bit like alarming. And if I'm a team, I am nervous because they did turn the switch on. And you're like, I just wasn't expecting this dominant performance against the Brewers, who were a good team. Like it was no disrespect. This wasn't the Arizona Diamondbacks a couple of years ago sneaking in there, and getting to the World Series. Like the Brewers were good and they knew how to play smart baseball. And you could tell there was like moments where it could have gone their way and they just could not deliver because our pitching staff was so strong. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought it was like, I don't know, like there was that idea of like they could turn it on in the postseason, but that's just so tough to think about in baseball Whereas like if you suck for 162 games, and not suck, but like if you looked like they did for 162 games, it's liable to be that's just who they are.
Right.
So the fact that they actually did have a switch to flip is flat out insane. Like I'm sure there have been, but like how many teams have gone 9-1 in the postseason? And
Yeah.
and honestly, the one loss was on purpose. Like they did their punt game in that game. So yeah, I don't know. All that's fine, and those are all reasons, but I mean, the real reason the Dodgers swept the Brewers is because of their payroll. If you ask Pat Murphy, who wins the certified weirdo award for the NLCS, Jesus Christ, dude, that was embarrassing from him. I didn't know who he was outside of being the Brewers manager before the series started. Now I hate him, and I hope he just sucks for the rest of his career. That was insane work from him.
You should not be like people should tell him like, hey, don't bring your kids to the press conference when you lost. Like what are you doing to them? This is terrible.
The idea that the only reason they won is payroll is just so insane.
Yeah.
Because like, guess what? Christian Yelich makes just as much money as anybody on the Dodgers, and he went 1 for 22 or something like that in the series.
Yeah.
Like Uribe threw that ball away because someone was wearing a Rolex in the stands or something like that. Like what that makes no sense.
Yeah. Yep. It's just the easy answer. It's reality, it's like if you would say they won because they have 3 MVPs on their roster. Like, yes. But to say that it has to do with the money is just funny because it's like, well, that's not actually true. You've literally seen teams do this in the past, in recent years, like the Padres who spend all of this money, like the Mets who spend all this money and then nothing happens. It's like, yes, we are here because we have a really good team. And yes, there are 3 MVPs that happen to be on our team.
The payroll thing, it's just so funny too. Like anybody could have signed fucking Kike Hernandez.
Yeah.
And anyone could have signed Max Muncy. Blake Snell was on 3 teams before he signed with the Dodgers and won a Cy Young on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like anybody could have had him. Like it's just such nonsense to me. And I know we mentioned it earlier today, but Hassan releasing that article before the series where he basically implied that the Dodgers winning would lead to a lockout in 2027.
Right.
Is just such shameful behavior from him. And if he wasn't so short, I'm sure I could hear him talking right now about how it wasn't that bad. But like that's just embarrassing. Oh, he's tiny.
Really?
I think like, you could tell just by looking.
You might be taller, Monty. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like, that's just disgusting from someone that's supposed to be like the Woj of the Major League Baseball. Like, to imply that one team winning would cause a lockout is just such crap. So yeah, no, that was a good win over the Brewers. I'm very surprised that they fucking swept them, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
to be 9-1 at this point in the postseason is insane.
Yeah,
just insane.
It's truly, it is ridiculous. And this idea that like either the Brewers came back to earth or they were overpowered by their payroll or whatever. The Brewers had the best record in baseball coming into the postseason. Yeah. They were the 1 seed. Like they were a good team. Pat Murphy was trying to push the David versus Goliath narrative constantly, but like you're the 1 seed. Like I'm sorry, you're not David when you're the 1 seed. You're just not.
You were 6-0. You were 6-0 against the Dodgers in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, and there were moments the Brewers had opportunities. And they didn't capitalize. Yeah. So it's like you had the chances. Honestly, it's stressful. But you guys, that is a typical reaction from being swept after being the number 1 seed. What do you have to say? You have to, dish out the blame somewhere else. It wasn't it wasn't us. What are you talking about?
At straws. Like when this is the same franchise that a few years ago, when Corbin Burns was he had 1 year left and he went into arbitration. And rather than the Brewers trying to extend him, which they should have done, I understand. Yeah, he missed much of the season because he was hurt, but he's one of the best pitchers in baseball when healthy. they took him to arbitration court in order
That's
to
right.
not pay him an extra like $300,000. Like it was a laughably low amount, to the point where Corbin Burns went to the media and was like, I don't know, it kind of sucks like going to a court and having your team like look at you and tell you the reasons why they shouldn't pay you a tiny bit more. Like it's ridiculous. And he had, I believe, had already won the Cy Young at that point, or at least like, so it was absurd. It was absurd. And if we want to talk about a franchise ruining baseball because of the way they handle their payroll, that sounds way more damning on the state of baseball than a team that spends money. And now the Dodgers get the Blue Jays in the World Series, who is a team that spends money. They have tried. They agreed to Shohei Ohtani's contract demands. They were ready to pay him the exact same contract that he got from the Dodgers. And good on them in taking that money and then giving it to their homegrown hometown star in Vlad Guerrero Jr. and locking him up for his entire career. That is a franchise that has been, for the last couple years, really trying to build themselves up as a legitimate contender in the American League, and they've done that. They were the 1 seed this year, and now they're in the World Series, and it's very well deserved. I have nothing but respect for the Blue Jays. And there are people out there who are trying to claim, like, yes, this goes back to this idea of the Dodgers trying to buy a championship and ruining baseball. The Blue Jays were 5th in payroll this year. Okay. They were at like 225. I understand that, it's $100 million less than the Dodgers. I'm not trying to pretend like the Dodgers don't spend a really large amount. Of course they do. The Blue Jays also heavily invest in their team. And if you think that baseball is the only sport where investing in your team is what creates contenders, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what I guess you're only watching baseball and nothing else exists. The idea of like super teams was like created in the NBA. Like, I don't know, you've had nothing but dynasties in the NFL for our lifetimes. Like, anyway, the point is people are going to want to point to the Dodgers as the reason why lockout is going to come in 2027. It's going to come because the players and the owners barely got onto the same page to get it off the ground the last time, but there was a lot of irreparable damage in those negotiations. And the Dodgers have a lot of deferred money on their payroll. There's probably going to be some sort of limitations on deferred money in the next one. I don't think a salary cap is actually going to happen, because in order to have a salary cap, you have to have a salary floor. And there's a ton of teams in the league that are not going to agree to a salary floor because they don't want to pay that floor, because the floor is going to be like $120, $130 million, which there's a handful of teams that are well below that line. So that's a conversation for another day. Dave Roberts said, hey, let's ruin baseball. And you know what? He's fucking right. Dan Beyer asked us on our show, I produced for him and Kerry Rhodes when they filled in for Covino and Rich last week. He said, if your team winning the World Series meant there would be no baseball season in 2027, would you agree to that? And I said, 10 times out of 10, yes. Of course I would. Are you kidding me? All right, guess I'm taking a year off. See y'all later.
No problem.
I'm taking the World Series, absolutely. But yeah, again, there's a lot of nuance in that discussion. That's a conversation for another time. But if the people want to blame the Dodgers, this was coming. They can't say
they're going to anyway. It doesn't
regardless
matter.
of what happens.
The Dodgers can lose this World Series and lose next year, and they will still say it's because of the Dodgers spending that we're doing this. Even as the Mets signed the next guy to a 10-year, $10 billion contract or whatever you want to say, like, it doesn't matter. They're going to get blamed anyway. It's just such crap from guys like Ravitch and Passan to say that shit. So
it's silly, but whatever. I'm with you guys. Who cares at this point? If you're gonna say it anyway, go ahead, do a lockdown. But you know what? The players. What did Bryce Harper say? Yeah. Didn't he say something that like the ones complaining are losers or something? Like,
yes.
He said it because that's not it. That's not it. So it's just stupid because the lockout is going to happen because players are frustrated with how the owners are handling other parts of the situation, not mad that the owners are spending. That's not what the players are mad about. They're mad about other things. You know what I'm saying? So that lockout is going to happen regardless of whether, like you said, about whether the Dodgers win or not. That lockout is probably going to happen.
Yeah. So let's look back on the last few details of this NLCS. As we mentioned, we talked about Blake Snell's start and how incredible that was, and that really led to Yoshinobu Yamamoto being given the opportunity to finish off a complete game, which he was incredible. For the first 2 games, you only had 1 inning that was covered by the bullpen, and that is the best way to address your struggling bullpen, is to just not use them. Let them sit around.
I had no issue with Dave going to the bullpen in game 1. Just because it was Roki. If it had been if they had replaced Snell with Trinan, I would have had an issue with it.
Yes.
But I don't blame him for going to the guy that's been unhittable to that point. So
yes,
no problem.
And Roki got a chance to come out again in game 3. Didn't have his sharpest stuff, but the velocity was at least back, and I think that looked better, because in game 1, not only was his command not there, but his velocity was slightly down.
Yeah.
And he was just missing spots and not really there wasn't a lot of competition to his pitches. So Blake Trinan did get to come into that game. And this could have been a very different series if the Brewers had taken game 1, because then I think you're kind of facing a different Brewers team for the rest of that series. But they did kind of get bailed out, because who was it? Bryce Terang. I understand it's your intuition to get out of the way.
Yeah, no, give up that kneecap, brother. Yeah. You give that kneecap up right now.
That was
I
bad.
cannot believe that. I could not believe that. Yeah. You would have been a hero. You would have been a hero. Instead, you came out a loser because you were worried about your kneecap. Get out of here. Look at George Springer's stupid ass. Yeah. And then goes, see what could have happened? That could have been you. But no, instead you left the loser.
We also luckily don't have to talk about that ridiculously stupid double play that happened in game 1. That is thankfully something we can just erase from memory. Like Brett Phillips' walk-off in the 2020 World Series.
Forgot what you were talking
about. we don't need to have to dive into these ridiculous things.
Who's the center fielder?
That was Sal Frelick.
Sal, where he's literally I have no idea what happened. It's gonna live in infamy. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be using that, in life.
And I think that's the theme of game 1 as a whole was that is a game that we of Dodger fans have watched the Dodgers lose every single time in the past, where something really weird and stupid happens. And despite an incredibly strong outing from your starting pitcher, the bullpen just collapses on them. And then there's a hit batsman to bring in the tying run. And then certainly they would have walked it off there in the 9th inning on a grounder up the middle that hits off the base. And then nobody knows what to do with it. And then suddenly they're down 1-0 in the series. But that also speaks to what Blake Snell did in game 1, where after that just mess of a situation where Teoscar Hernandez completely, again, we're just continuing to ride the Teoscar Hernandez experience, where for no reason at all, he goes back and tags up, because the rule is, guys, once the ball hits the glove, regardless of if it's caught or not, once it hits the glove, that is now considered a live ball. In essence, now you can tag and run. He started to do that, and then once it bounced up and then back, then he went back and tagged up, and that's how he got thrown out at home. Again, we don't have to live with this play anymore, but Blake Snell then came out in the inning after that, and if there was any sort of momentum, the crowd was super invested. It was high energy. They were in it, and I believe he threw a 7-pitch inning to just shut it down. Yeah. That was truly impressive, where Blake Snell was completely unfazed by the chaos of that moment, despite the fact that everyone else was. I still didn't know what was going on as the next inning started, and yet it did not matter to Snell. He came in and shut it down, and that's the pitcher we're getting in this postseason, and that's incredible. And that should be the pitcher we get in game 1 of the World Series. I truly wonder. This might be the best postseason pitcher I think we've seen with the Dodgers. And that's with Yamamoto then following it up with an insane start as well. But Snell now has a track record of doing these things in the postseason, and he's in the midst of doing it again. This is who they paid for, and it's it is working incredibly well.
Yeah.
Moving on down the line in that series, yes, of course, again, Yamamoto, incredible work in game 2. Monse went deep in that game. Did Teo go deep in that game as well?
I think so.
I think he did, because this is just what it's like. And then game 3, Tyler Glasnow pitched phenomenally. Jacob Mizorowski was unhittable. He was exactly what we saw from him earlier in the season, but also again, it should be illegal to like start games at 3:00 at Dodger Stadium, but they keep doing it in the playoffs. So for a good like 5 innings, no one can see anything. So then you have Jacob Mizorowski painting the corners at 103, and also the hitters can't see a thing. So that went exactly as it was expected to go for a good 6 innings there. They were fortunate to pull out that one, and then Shohei Ohtani ices the series. Like that's guy. It felt too easy. It really did. It still doesn't feel real. It feels like I know we've now watched the Dodgers win 2 championships in the last few years. But I still go back to watching this team in the 2010s, where like no matter how well things go, it still feels like things are going to fall in on itself.
Yeah.
And it always did. It still feels like that to me, and I don't like that. That's what I'm afraid of, because it just feels too good to be true. But it's
Glasnow had easily their worst start in the postseason, and it was still like ace level stuff that you get from other pitchers in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. Ohtani has the best stuff on the staff.
Yeah.
Like, and that's your number 4 starter.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like I feel like talking about the World Series is going to be short, because like the entire time that we've grown up watching baseball, it's always been like the team with better starting pitching wins. Well, guess what? The Dodgers get to trot out Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Ohtani for 4 games, and then it starts over.
Yeah.
Like good luck, everybody else. Like I'm sorry. Like it's insane. It's insane. I'm looking at the run scored, run allowed, and the differential. The Dodgers scored more runs than the Jays this year. They allowed less, and they doubled them up on run differential. Like I'm sorry. The Jays are a great team. Baseball is weird. Anything can happen. But if this series goes more than 5 games, I'm surprised. And credit to the Jays for doing that. But like I never feel as confident in the Dodgers as I do in this series specifically. Like they did not go 9-1 in the playoffs to get to this point and just be like, all right, well, let's just lose this series.
Yeah.
Like, look at the difference in how they celebrated. Like the Dodgers winning the NLCS was like another Tuesday in July.
Yeah.
It just, that team doesn't lose. It just doesn't. Like it just doesn't feel like a team that's going to lose.
Yeah.
And we can come back here in 10 days, and I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, and I would be surprised, and all credit to the Blue Jays if that's what happens. But I don't see a world where their starting pitching can keep down the Dodgers bats the way the Dodgers pitching can at least keep down the Blue Jays bats to some degree. Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah. I understand both of you. Ryan, I understand, because when we played the Phillies, we didn't beat the Phillies. The Phillies just couldn't win. Like, so it was kind of like, what's going to come out against the Brewers? And then they look so dominant. So I totally hear you, Beau, that it's like, I do think this could be done in 4 or 5 games. I don't see it, even though all season, like, I think Toronto had the best team batting average. There's like things that they let in, but you know what? It's the postseason. That shit doesn't matter anymore. None of that matters anymore. Look at the Brewers. It's now different. So everything that they that they had a great season for, it's like, that's awesome. I just don't see how they match up in any way to what we just saw the Dodgers do. I just don't see it.
It's so funny when people would ask, like, oh, do you want the Mariners or the Blue Jays? I would say, well, I guess you get home field advantage with the Mariners, but want them to win it at home, so I kind of want the Blue Jays. And that's really funny to feel this way about this team, where you're like, well, I hope they don't get home field advantage, so that way they're able to win the World Series in LA this time, because they're going to do it in the 3-4 in either 4 or 5. So that's, which is just a really a crazy thing to feel. I do think I agree with you guys. I think it goes 5. I think the Dodgers take it in 5. And if the Blue Jays win the series, it's probably because it went 7. Like I don't see a way in which the Blue Jays just outright dominate them for the entire series. I think it's important where this. I know I said that I thought the World Series winner was going to come out of the Phillies-Dodgers series. I still think the Phillies were probably the best team the Dodgers have faced in the postseason. But the Blue Jays are really damn good. The Brewers were a very strong team throughout the year, but the Dodgers were able to attack them effectively, and it was a very young team. So the sweep was surprising, but also to a level not. With the Blue Jays, they have a strong mix of veterans, of guys who are in their prime. They have a ton of talent throughout the lineup. George Springer, despite being in pain when he swings, is still able to hit home runs as if he knows what's coming in the postseason.
That's
crazy. I have to. That's required. We are legally required to point that out with George Springer. It's George. I always thought George Springer was the most likable of the Astros bunch. So, but I mean, he was surrounded by a lot of really unlikable guys on that bunch. So, but beyond him, obviously, Vlad is on a tear in this postseason. They're most likely getting Bo Bichette back, which does make an impact. And they've had guys like Ernie Clement and Alejandro Kirk, and like guys like just contribute like crazy. Yeah. So
the bottom of the lineup has been the reason they won so well at games, because they won 4 in a row. You know what I'm saying? They lost the first 2 and they won 4 in a row, and it was because 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's why. Like Vladimir had it, but he wasn't. It wasn't like he was with the Yankees.
Yeah.
In that series, you know what I mean? Like their later half of the lineup was what kept them and pushed them over.
Yeah.
I just think the American League was so. I just think the American League was so not good this year that like yeah, honestly, I think the Brewers, the Phillies, or like the Reds, or the Cubs, or the Padres would all be favored in a World Series against whoever came out of the American League. Like I just do. I don't know why. I don't know why. I should not feel this confident about the Dodgers winning the World Series, but I just cannot see a world where this team got to this point after the season they had, where they just pack it in and lose to this team. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It feels counterintuitive to be this confident, but because we also like don't want to get our hopes up too much, because we, again, as I've said, we are conditioned to brace ourselves for failure. But looking at this logically, I don't see how you can't. Obviously, the betting markets have them as the favorite. Like everyone has them as the favorite, so it's hard to not say that they're the favorite.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say the Blue Jays are bad.
Right.
Blue Jays are the bless you. Blue Jays are the best team. Like they're the best team on the other side of the bracket that the Dodgers could have possibly faced. I just think the Dodgers are that much better.
Yeah.
They really look it. Like put stats aside, put all the little numbers aside, just watch.
Yeah.
They look so much better.
They're doing everything incredibly well, down to like Monse had that great play at third in like game 4 or game 3. Like things like that. Mookie's been phenomenal at shortstop. He had that jump throw in the 9th inning. Yeah. Like he's like they're doing all the except for Teoscar Hernandez. Everyone's doing all the little things really well. They just have one guy who just kind of suddenly like gets lost sometimes. It's just it's fine because then he hits home runs. So
the path that both teams took to get here is just so like the Dodgers went through fucking like muscle man number 1. Like the Reds have a great starting rotation. They went through muscle man number 2 in the Phillies. They won both games started by the guy who's going to win the Cy Young in the National League. They won both those games. And then, they had to play the team with the best record in baseball, and they fucking swept them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jays got the Yankees, who are always in a turmoil. They avoided the Tigers, who probably are the only like real pitching matchup in the American League. And they got like really the happy to be there Mariners, and the Mariners took them to 7.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting here not saying that the Dodgers are the favorites, then you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And like sometimes the favorites lose, like they do, but I just
Totally.
it's just not comparable. It's just not.
No. I want to wrap this up by saying something nice about Rob Parker. We started this off by saying one thing he said was really dumb. One thing he mentioned was, I thought, a really great point. The TV ratings for this World Series might get weird, and people are going to point to it and be like, yeah, you see, people are sick of the Dodgers. They don't want to watch. TV ratings in Canada do not count towards the TV ratings that we get here in America. So the entirety of Canada is going to be watching this World Series, and that number will not impact the number that you get in the TV ratings from Nielsen. So that's just something to keep in mind when people try to use that as a reason, like, look, you see, people don't want to watch the Dodgers anymore. Well, guess what? There's an entire country to the north, and every single one of them is watching this game, and you just don't know that because the ratings don't account for it. Ratings are archaic anyway. That's the whole process is just ridiculous. But that's a conversation for another day. All right. So this is our second season doing the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone. The Dodgers won the World Series in 2024. If they win the World Series again in 2025, every Dodger fan is collectively required to pay us to do this for the rest of our lives, because that is a pattern that is undeniable. And if they
we'll get a break in 27, so it's all good.
Right. Yeah, we'll take that year off and regroup and recuperate, and then get ourselves a nice big studio, and you can all just pour the money in as we get to watch the Dodgers win the World Series. So when we join you again, we will be discussing the outcome of the World Series. Oh,
are we all saying Dodgers in 5?
Yeah.
Do we all think Dodgers?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I actually think Toronto wins game 1.
Okay.
You know, they're at home.
They're excited. Have they said who's starting yet?
Snell's starting game 1.
No.
Yeah, but is it Scherzer for the Jays or
no? I think it's Trey Savage. I think
that guy.
Yeah.
That one.
That's the one thing I will say right now. If the Dodgers lose the series, it's going to be on the back of one man, and that's going to be Blake Trinan.
Stop. Stop.
No, I'm serious. Dead serious. This is a Blake Trinan series because the Jays have a lot of right-handers, a lot of right-handed hitters. And Dave is going to feel the need to play matchups at some point, and he's going to put Trinan in. And it's going to be It's going to be Springer. It's going to be Vladdy. Oh, dude, it's so if the Dodgers don't win, it's going to be because Blake Trinan did not do his job. I will put that on record right now.
All right.
Well, I mean, hey, nobody puts America first quite like Blake Trinan. Right. So
hopefully it's 8-1 at that point.
Yeah. So I think in the international battle, Blake should have the edge. So for Monse Bolaños, for Bo, I was about to say Bo Jackson, for Bo Benson. But also, hey, Bo Jackson, shout out. Also for Bo Jackson.
Please come on the show.
My name's Ryan Bershinger. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone. Next time, we will be hopefully getting to celebrate another World Series win. How about that? Wouldn't that be fun? All right. We will see you all next time. Domo arigato, everyone. Thank you very much.
Ciao.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.